Good morning to our micro SME friends watching us live on the Financial Literacy Forum program today. I'm Thomas, your moderator from AKPK. I wish to welcome everyone to this forum organized by the Financial Education Network, or FEN, in conjunction with the Financial Literacy Month 2021. The aim of today's forum is to share the importance of financial literacy to micro SMEs and to share some of the advisory platforms to help you and your business. I would now like to briefly introduce our panel today, who will share their diverse perspectives on financial management and financial literacy. First off, we have the handsome Mr. Ranganathan Kannan, who is a partner at an accounting firm, Tratex, that works with many SMEs. Second, we have Mr. Leong Weng Chung, the Chief Business Officer of the Credit Guarantee Corporation, or CGC, that provides guarantees to help SMEs obtain loans from banks. And last, definitely not least, we have Puan Norafira Abdulaziz, who is an entrepreneur and a managing director of ZY Trading and a certified e-commerce coach for Shopee, Lazada, and Amazon. Thank you very much to all three of you for sparing your valuable time to share your experience and insights with our micro SME friends today. For my first question, Mr. Renga, in your opinion, as an accountant dealing with various MSMEs, what is financial literacy to you, and why is it relevant and important for business sustainability? Renga.
Okay, so what is financial literacy and is it relevant or not? So I won't be going through this one by one. So what is financial literacy? Being an accountant, I would like to share my point of view here is, now being a businessman, we'll go to banks, we will go to government authority, we'll go and see shareholders, we go and see stakeholders, investors, macam-macam orang. Ali has to see a lot of people. So when Ali has to see a lot of people, Ali has to ensure what information, what document he is going to produce. Okay, so being an accountant, this is my interpretation of financial literacy. If someone is very concerned about cash flow, then Ali has to prepare his cash flow statement. Someone is very important, someone's concern is on profitability, then Ali's important document here will be profit and loss. Or if a financier is so concerned about balance sheet, capital, then of course the important document is balance sheet, which is asset, capital, what is your working capital, what is the level of debtors, what is the level of creditors, and what is the amount of drawings. Have you taken your drawings for first 3 years, 4 years? This is what I would say financial literacy, being an accountant. So now, two ends here, who I'm going to meet, what they need, what they are looking for. Of course, when after Ali see them, they will give a checklist. But before that, Ali should have a prelim knowledge what he is expecting, or is he getting, he has to get prepared for that meeting. That is financial literacy. So with that knowledge, if Ali go and see banker A or banker B, when banker A gives 2-page checklist and banker B gives 4-page checklist, Ali would in a very good position to manage banker A and banker B just like that, because he has the financial literacy knowledge. So with that, I could connect back to your second question, whether it's relevant, sufficient. Yes, it is relevant, sufficient. With that prevailing knowledge, it will make the entire process very fast, smooth. Ali could attain his objective very fast, and he can move on. If it fails, plan B is always in his pocket, right? Because when someone with that knowledge, if it doesn't happen within the timeline, he would have the capability to turn around very fast. Probably seek for government authorities or government agencies, like government agencies funding. There's so many other, MIDA, MDAC. They are giving there's a lot of grants going on, or AKPK for advice, or even banking arm for advice. So you will have that turnaround capability. So that's my view being an accountant. Okay, so with that knowledge, of course, you can see in this on screen with that knowledge what could be achieved. Now, nevertheless, with that knowledge, as I explained to you earlier, could turn around very fast, and Ali could be in a better position to take decisions very fast. Now the world is very small, so Ali can turn around with his financial documentations, financial information, relevant financial information. In fact, Ali will be in a better position to whether shall I reveal or not to reveal, to whom I should reveal, to whom I should not reveal. He will have that, sense of responsibility, and with this knowledge, it could lead into a better decision-making process, or it can attain his business objectives on timely basis. Okay, so it can validates and create a structured budget, cash flow prediction on quarterly basis or on yearly basis. It can be it could lead into a short term and also a mid-term expectation along with Ali's long-term objective. So that of course, financial literacy knowledge is important for any Malaysians, especially for Malaysians in business. Thank you.
Maybe if I can move on now to the second panelist, Leong, Mr. Leong. As someone who provides loan guarantees and advisories to SMEs, in your view, why is financial literacy important for micro and small businesses, please? So,
yeah, okay, thanks, Thomas, and thank you very much to AKPK for inviting me to come over here. Okay, maybe just to start off, I would just like to just introduce CGC, because I think we have been established for 49 years, but still a lot of people does not know CGC yet. So just wanted to at least introduce CGC lah. Okay. Okay. We are actually, CGC is actually a subsidiary of Bank Negara. All right. 78% of it is actually owned by Bank Negara. The other balance of the can I have the previous slide, please? Okay, and the balance of the 21% is actually owned by the commercial banks. So we have been here since 1972, and to date, we have actually helped out more than 350,000 MSMEs, valued at with the guarantee and financing value at more than 85.4 billion. All right, so it is important to take note that MSMEs or SMEs are really important to the backbone of Malaysia, because in terms of GDP, MSMEs provide almost 39% of the GDP, and for employment, the MSMEs actually provide up to 60% of employment to Malaysia. So definitely MSMEs are very important. Okay, so next page. I just want to highlight in our day-to-day job, I think it is very crucial that the MSMEs understand financial literacy very well, mainly because of two reasons. The first reason is really the SMEs must really know about P&L, okay, profit and loss. It's not really into accounting type of P&L, but basically when they run a business, when an SME sets up their business, they need to really understand whether the business that they are running, are they making profit or making a loss? All right, because I think every business that is being set up, chances are that they may want to run into profit. But if you want to know whether you're making a profit or loss, it's important for you to know, like, how much capital do you put in, how much, what are the resources that you want to purchase, what price are you selling your goods and services for? At the end of the day, you know, after all these things, your revenue or your income minus off all your expenses, all that, are you actually making a profit or not? It's not into details like accounting, but you still need to know a little bit so that you actually know in the long run, your business, is it going to be profitable or not? That's one. The second part is that how do you manage your cash flow? You see, when it's also important to look at how are you able to manage your day-to-day cash as well as your day-to-day business operation? That is very important in my mind if you are running a business. So I come from CGC, which is a subsidiary of Bank Negara, and I work with a lot of banks. And just to share with you what the banks normally look for when a customer goes to the bank to borrow money is the 5 C's. Not sure whether many of the SMEs know about it, but maybe just to share, just to give some ideas. So when you approach a bank to do, when you want to borrow money, the first key thing is also for these SMEs to understand. If you want to borrow money, the banks will always see whether can you repay the loan immediately or you cannot. So this is where the SME needs to decide for themselves first, whether should I go for debt financing or equity type of financing. Okay, debt financing is something whereby if you take debt financing, which is most of the time very common from the banks, which is debt financing, you need to understand that you definitely need to pay the following month. So a lot of the SMEs must be able to understand that if you want to borrow from the banks, you must be able to demonstrate that you can pay the following month. Equity type of financing is when you do not have the capacity to pay immediately. You can only pay within maybe a year or 2 years or 3 years away. When I say equity type of financing, it means that you bring in shareholders because you need money. Okay, when you need money, you can't pay immediately. So this is where you bring in shareholders rather than taking a loan. So it is very important for these SMEs to also understand, are they able to take on debt or equity type of financing? So if they are willing to take on debt financing, this is where the credit evaluation is on the 5 C's. The one that they will look at the bank side is on your character. How are you? Are you able? What is your behavior like? Are you able to pay the loan? Okay, your behavior is very important. So in terms of capacity, this is where I talk about what is your capacity? Do you have the capacity to pay back the loan the very next month? It is very important that you demonstrate to the banks that you actually have got the capacity to pay. Assuming the installment is $100 or $500 or 1,000, you must then prove to them that your current commitment that you have, I'm sure you have your car loan, your housing loan, or whatever loan, plus that you are able to also pay the new loan that you want to take up. Capital is also something that the banks looked at, is that how much commitment have you put into the business? All right. So sometimes if you go and borrow from the banks and the banks find that you have not put in any commitment at all, they are more reluctant to lend. But if you have put in certain commitment, like maybe your paid up capital is 20,000, 30,000, and you want to borrow another 30,000, it shows that you already put in some commitment of 50%. Now you want to borrow another 50%. So it shows that you have got the eagerness to start a business and to run your business. Some SMEs, when they go and borrow money from the banks, they expect the banks to give them 100%. This is where the banks will actually look at your seriousness and your commitment to your business. All right. Fourth is the condition. All right. So things like what segment of the industries are you doing? You know, certain industries are higher risk than certain other industries. So this is where they will evaluate what type of conditions you are in. All right. Last but not least, collateral. So, but then with CGC coming in, okay, we will then be able to guarantee these loans so that the collateral is lesser, all right, or maybe don't even have to have collateral. So why CGC is being set up is because a lot of banks last time will look at collateral. You need a house or you need certain assets to borrow money. But now we realize that this is one of the pain points of SMEs, and this is why 49 years ago, CGC was set up to ensure that collateral, you need to have less because we do understand SMEs do not have collateral. So this is where CGC will come in. All right. So more is to your character, your capacity, your capital, as well as your condition. All right. Next. The other thing that we also want to highlight out is that there are many reasons why the banks will reject your loan. And these are the things that we have highlighted down, broken up into 3, which is your financial difficulties, your high gearing. You have got no track record with the banks because the bank doesn't know you at all. as well as others. You could have been a guarantor to certain of the other loans given out. All right, CTOS. All right. So these are some of the things that the banks will actually look out for. And in fact, for financial difficulties, is that you can see here, there's quite a lot of things. Last time, if you don't pay your telco bills or you don't pay your utility bills, nobody knows. So now it is part of the CTOS and everybody will know. So data points are very important. So last time when you thought that you could just say don't pay your JPJ or you don't pay your telco data so that you can run away. But right now, all these data points are all being taken into consideration as part of your characteristics. So this is where not just the banking products and services or loans that you need to actually be paying on time, but the rest of all your other bills also you need to pay on time, because all these things form your characteristics, and the banks will be actually looking at your characteristics, like back to the 5 C's, your capacity, okay, your capital, as well as your condition, as well as your collateral, when they evaluate you. All right. So Thomas, this is just a start of the financial literacy. So this is some of the things that I just wanted to highlight. From the banking circle, what are the things that the banks will look at, and why is it financial literacy is very important to the SMEs?
Sorry, I was muted. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Thank you very much,
Sure.
Leong.
Yep.
To me, you have helped many of our micro SME friends improve their understanding of the importance of financial literacy, especially in the area of how they can actually improve their chances of getting access to loans. So thank you very much.
Sure, no worries.
Maybe now, if I can move on to the entrepreneur among our panelists, and she's a champion entrepreneur no less. Maybe Coach Ira, as an entrepreneur, can you share with us, what do you see as the importance of financial literacy to you as an entrepreneur in running your day-to-day business to achieve your business goals? Coach?
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all. Okay, first of all, thank you, Mr. Thomas, for the introduction, and thank you, AKPK, for inviting me to this forum. So to answer to your question, Thomas, in short, yes. Okay, as per what Mr. Leong had said just now, financial literacy is definitely important, and your data point, okay, and your data point is also important as part of your characteristic in achieving your business goal, be it MSME or SME. Okay. If you don't work in a finance role, right, perhaps you have fallen into the trap of assuming that finance isn't of much concern to you. If so, you are not alone, okay? But it should stop there. Financial literacy is something that you must know. And if you don't yet, it's something that you need to start learning now. Okay, financial literacy here is not about you doing your own balance sheet and P&L yourself. No. Example for us, right? We don't do our account ourselves. We engage a third-party accounting firm to do it for us instead. Okay, I myself did not come from a finance or a business background. I did my degree and master in engineering, and I worked as an engineer in oil and gas company for 9 years before I decided to focus on the business. So when it comes to finance and accountant, I still make sure that we are literate and we understand the fundamental behind it. Okay, in simple terms, to be financially literate is to know how to manage your money. Okay, this means learning to pay your bills, how to pay yourself. This is important, yeah? You need to pay yourself. How much to allocate for your marketing, how much how to generate more money, and how and why do we need to invest, and also understand if the company is making money and making enough money. Okay, and one of the main reasons why SME must learn accounting fundamental is that our performance revolves around the sales and profit itself. Okay, and how this will help us is first in business management, because when you understand how this number articulates and how the performance is measured, you can do a better job in managing whatever business decision that you are going to be making. You want to understand all facets of it. Okay, so there's going to be human resource angle to it. There are going to be marketing angles to it, and there are operational angles to it. And there's also what is the impact on the financial statement of this particular decision that you are going to make. Okay, and this brings us to the second point, which is problem solving. Okay, when faced with difficult business decision, you can confidently consider financial implication before weighing your option. Okay, and making the best choice for your team. Financial literacy can enable you to become a well-rounded leader who consider multiple facets, like I mentioned just now, HR, marketing, operation, and everything, for any issue that arises. Okay, simply because you know, okay, you have the figure with you, you have it on your hands. So if the matter of negotiation will impact the financial well-being of the company, understanding how to talk about financial implication of your desired income could sway the conversation in your favor. And you can hone your negotiation skill to solve the problem and win it. Okay, it's all about the confidence, and where the confidence comes is from the figure. Okay, it's from your financial literacy. Okay, and finally, this financial literacy can also drive your business expansion. Okay, understanding how each of your team expenses play into the liability on your company balance sheet can allow you to assess how to be more efficient. Okay, more efficient. So once you understand your company financial statement, you can track specific items that impact your company's bottom line. Okay, when applied to your daily responsibility, as per the question just now, insight into your company's financial accounting can be a motivating for you and your team. Okay, knowing the impact of your action on the broader company financial health can help you to keep the big picture in mind, because you are now clear on the impact in terms of ringgit and cents, because that's all that matters. Okay, everybody wants to know what is the bottom line, and proving the impact on your company bottom line will then make your expansion idea more compelling. Okay, are you making a profit or are you making a loss? Day in and day out, we spend money, and many times we spend what we have not earned. Okay, and we end up taking a loan. It is then, therefore, important to know how to deal with this money we have right now. Okay, both earned and yet to be earned. Okay, so no matter what is your role, being financially literate can help you in this business, in elevating your business management, your decision making, your business expansion. And this, in turn, will prove your leadership skill and empower your bottom top team with a culture of trust and accountability. Okay, that's it from me, Thomas.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. I can see the passion and in the entrepreneur in you, Coach Ira. Thank you very much for sharing with your, I call it your comrades, who's also in this world. And thank you for your tips for making, not only on just making just enough money, but lots of money, which hopefully then all of us can grow together here in Malaysia. So to again, thank you very much to all the speakers that have contributed your perspective. Maybe allow me to attempt to very quickly summarize the key points from our three panelists for this first segment. Before then, we move on to the second segment. But first, some key points from Rengga. I think Rengga's key point is that a financially literate business owner can more likely be in fully control of their business if you can gain an understanding of the balance sheet and the P&L and the profit and loss account. It provides you a clearer view of the financial state of your business, and subsequently can actually help facilitate smarter business decisions. And from Leong, I think Leong gave some very insightful insider, I call it insider tips on how to borrow money from banks. And to many business people, loans are critical. So he shared about the 5 C's of credit evaluation, the difference between debt and equity. And I think very importantly, the key reasons for why loan applications are unsuccessful. And if we reflect on those reasons that he had shared, hopefully that will increase our chances of getting loans and more loans if it's appropriate for our business circumstance. And I think finally, Coach Ira shared from her perspective, her actual business perspective, three interesting points. One is that financial literacy can be achieved not just by people in the finance world, but also by people that have no finance background at all. And she herself is an engineer, for example, and finance, as she mentioned, is not just good for understanding how much money you make or how good how much bottom line you have at the end of the day, but it's also important to solve problems, to negotiate with your partners or your counterparties or your suppliers or maybe even your clients, and by understanding financial literacy, it can help in all those problem solving of your businesses. And lastly, she shared that, and I think this is very critical, that financial literacy actually will help drive business expansion and grow your business in a more efficient way, because you also understand the impact of every decision or action on your business bottom line. So thank you again to all three. It's clear that from your sharing that financial literacy is important in managing a business, especially in today's very competitive business environment. So now let me move on, please, to the second segment of our forum, where our panelists will share on how do you apply financial literacy in daily activities. And the intended learning outcome of this segment is to apply financial knowledge into action, including what are the potential challenges and how to overcome them. Again, we will start with Ringa. Ringa, how can micro business owners improve their financial literacy and apply it in their day-to-day financial and business management, please, Ringa? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for that question. So I will explain first, then I will share the slides later, okay? Or you want me to, 1 second, I'll share the slides now, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, clear, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so how to improve? How to improve? At home, generally, we don't listen to everyone, right? We only have, we will only listen to a few people. It could be husband, it could be mom, or could be dad. Of course, it's good to listen to everyone, but who we are going to select? So likewise, in business, we need a mentor. We really need a mentor in business. Now, why we need a mentor? That mentor should be a subject specialist, someone who's who knows about the industry insights in and out, and generally cannot go wrong. He might attain his learning curve. So, I mean, our distinguished panelists have touched a lot of aspects. So it will be good for me to touch on value chain. From my angle, every business is a value chain, right? So if I'm dealing with my supplier, a value chain connecting with another value chain, it could be horizontal or integral. Okay? It's an integration. How we are going to create value. End of the day, we have our first layers and second layers, procurement, all the stuff, HR, accounting, everything. End of the day, business owners are there to make a margin. So it is good for us to know, or for us to reduce the mistakes or minimize the mistakes with good mentors, right? It could be anyone, But in my view, if you belong to a segment, and let's say, for example, F&B industry, it is good to have a mentor from F&B industry. An accountant can give you views and professional opinion, but F&B, sorry, I'm not in the right situation to give you an F&B opinion. Only someone well-versed in F&B industry can give you that best situation. So it is good to have mentors from the business aspect and financial aspect as well. Okay. Enhance the business network. Likewise, I think we stick to F&B industry. Now, if you want to go for networking, of course, it's good to do networking, but they have to know, if let's say Ali is in a small F&B business, Ali have to design, Ali have to explore what type of networking activity, what type of networking event that is going to invest. only then he could connect with the right people or right team, right caliber, in order to probably to get a proper synergy, good synergy, and you should be in the industry run. So if Ali is in the industry run, Ali cannot go wrong. Okay, now keep studying and take a finance course. I would like to break this into two. Keep studying. There's so many pocket talks, 2 hours talk, 1 hour talk. Now, I mean, due to pandemic, thanks to pandemic, there's so many webinars. You don't know how many webinars to attend. So many webinars, right? But it is, I mean, Ali has to decide which webinar he wants. Language option is not a limitation at all. There's so many language options. Timing is not a problem. It can be played anytime. There's so many podcasts, series of podcasts. It's not a problem. Everything is there. Now, Ali has to decide what he wants. What he wants. And based on those, I mean, based on his selection, Ali also, Ali could explore whether it's really worthwhile for him to do a certificate course, or he wants to do a short-term learning process. It's good. With that, we could challenge something. Let's say Ali is 45 years old. He's comfortable with his motor vehicle. He's comfortable with his good life, but he wants to set up his own new business, small business. So Ali should go through some challenge. So that challenge, it can be a deep challenge, can be a short-term challenge, it can be any challenge. Let's say, for example, Ali wants to invest into stock market. Okay, so what I learned from my CFOs, my mentors, when my early 20s, Ranga, you want to invest, go ahead. But in stock market, do not expect immediate profit. Do not expect immediate green signal. Number one. Number two, do not buy and sell immediately. Number two. Number three, no matter how tempting it is, you should set your cap. So let's say your tolerance level is 1,000 ringgit. No matter what, do not invest more than 1,000 ringgit. So that's a discipline that we have to build. Okay, so maybe, I mean, you can start some challenge, not necessarily challenge in the sense, not necessarily purely in, I mean, you cannot have a challenge with bank A, bank B. That's not the right way to challenge, right? So challenge in the sense of how Ali is going to challenge in order to increase his financial literacy, and how he's going to adapt and implement into his business, right? Of course, news, so many bulletins, so many, nowadays we have a lot of good news segments in the country. So it is good to go through those grilling sections on daily basis, and be passionate of your industry. Business, right? Business is always close to our heart. And rather than, I mean, you can see a few type of, in general, Malaysians, type A, they will do one business and they will do the business forever. Type B, they will do many business. They do many business. Not necessarily A is right, B is wrong, or like the other ways, right? No matter what, whatever business that Ali and his friends, whoever touch the business, make sure that they drive along with the business forever. Should be passionate. Business is like our baby, our child. So we have to ensure that our child goes to the university in proper manner and graduates, come back, and it sustains, it is fruitful, right? We have to see good fruits. Practice what you learn and learn on the job. Okay, there's so many rules and regulations. Man, going back to pointer one, find a mentor. Why we need a mentor? We have to know what are the rules, timing, when to do, when not to do, seasons, right? When to buy, when not to buy. It is good to learn from the people who have gone through the experience. Likewise, you can cut and slice, practice this experience, learn this experience, could probably from India, from China, from Indonesia. Business is business, F&B is F&B. Everybody is going to consume the food. So what is the situation in Indonesia? What's the situation in China? It is always good to apply, cross-apply. Like to allow me to share next slide. It's very quickly. Yep. So going back to connecting back with the earlier section, basic budgeting is always, we need a budget. If let's say Ali is making 5,000 ringgit on monthly basis, he has to make a budget what is the capital, how much he can take back money. If he's making 5,000 ringgit from his F&B business, that doesn't mean the 5,000 ringgit belongs to him. Not at all. Not at all. He has to pay his suppliers, he has to pay his electric bill, utility bills and internet bills, all these bills. Probably he could take a small allowance, or maybe he cannot take any money. Only can take a, he have to survive first 2 years with minimal allowance. That's how business is. Maybe third year or fourth year onwards, he could see some beautiful drawings, right? Variance analysis, what if, of course, what if analysis. What if this doesn't, what if things doesn't go as per our expectation? What if things doesn't go, even doesn't take place as per our budget? Do we have the capability to manage? Do we have the resources to run the show or not? Can we still run the show? Can I still make some profits? If I can't make profits, do I have enough money to run the show? So that he has to, it is good to ask, carry out those questions on not on daily basis, but it is good to ask this kind of questions on at least every quarter, right? Cash versus accrual. Cash is king, no matter, even though sales has been recorded as per book, but collection. Okay, have you collected the money or not? Do you have that? How efficiently Ali and his team working out in order to like Mario touching their base? Have they collected the money on time or not? I mean, that's what bankers see. Even though your sales is good, what is your debt? What is the debt receivable? What is the aging period? These are important factors for bankers, right? Basic financial statements, accountants will take care of this. Keep adequate records. This Ali or any business owner, they are ultimately responsible for this, because it is my business. I'm responsible for the records. If I say I don't know, then my pointer will go lower. When my pointer goes lower, trustworthy goes lower. Okay, and of course, it is difficult for me to win the game, any game, right? Tax planning, it is vital, as we expressed earlier. As a taxman, I cannot be ending it without the tax tips here. Tax planning or tax documentation or tax compliance, this should be taken place year one, not at all when they make profit. That's not right. Okay, year one. And that doesn't mean that year one everyone will make losses. No, not at all. Generally, revenue has very good analytics and profile that based on taxpayers and business owners profiles, industrial code, segment code, size, location, data points are there. Like what our fellow panelists mentioned earlier, banks do have their data points. Likewise, revenue do have their data points. So do not underestimate. It is good to comply from day one. Okay, so thank you. That's all from me.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thank you, Rengga, for sharing your valuable tips on how to improve financial literacy for Ali and for our friends, micro business friends here today. Thank you. Maybe I can move on to Leong. Leong, as you're aware, Leong, at AKPK, we do have many financial education and financial literacy programs where micro entrepreneurs can seek help. Yeah. But aside from AKPK, where, in your view, can micro entrepreneurs seek help to improve their financial literacy, and what can CGC offer to these micro entrepreneurs, please?
Okay, the first and foremost, I just want to highlight that a lot of the SMEs find that getting loan is a challenge. Okay, so especially micro SMEs and all that always says that very difficult for them to get loans and all that. So I just want to correct that part there to highlight that actually in Malaysia, we are actually very blessed because we have a lot of parties which are willing to give out loans to SMEs, as long as the SMEs themselves improve on their financial literacy. Let me just highlight to you how lucky you are in Malaysia. Who are the parties who are willing to give out loans to? We have got the government agencies. We have the likes of Tekun, Mara, Amanah Ikhtiar, which is government agencies willing to give out loan. We have got the banks, and when we talk about the banks, we have got the commercial banks, we have got the Islamic banks, okay? And then we also have the developmental financial institutions, all right? And besides these government agencies, as well as the banks, those that I've talked about just now, we also have from Securities Commission, the legalized peer-to-peer lending, okay, P2P financing or peer-to-peer lending, and as well as equity crowdfunding. So we have actually a very rich ecosystem of partners that is willing to help the SMEs in terms of financing. All right, so you can actually see that all these parties, actually every year the heads, just like me, I actually have a target to actually increase the guarantees that I give to SMEs, as well as the lending to give to SMEs. So similarly, like all the heads of the business division, they would actually have this. So SMEs really, I encourage you to understand that if you know the financial literacy well, there are actually a lot of parties which are willing to give financing to you, but you yourself must actually do your job by understanding what the banks or these agencies want. All right. So a little bit about CGC, what we do and all that, maybe we can also help you out in terms of what are the things that we can actually do for micro SMEs. Okay, so in our shop, in CGC, we basically have 3 pillars, all right? We do the guarantee business like what I said to you all. We also do the direct financing business. Okay, the direct financing are mainly for startup businesses, and we also have a product specifically for ladies called Bis Wanita. The startup business is called Bis Mula. We also have got a loan for Bumi Putra SMEs who actually got contracts with the government or GLCs. We call it Tabung Project Usahawan Bumi Putra, TPUBI. All right. And recently we have also launched Biz Micro for the micro businesses. And when we look at financing and direct financing, I mean, looking at guarantee and direct financing, one of the key things that we have learned in CGC is that a lot of customers, once you have got money, the problem is that you may turn NPL at the 2nd or 3rd year. That's where normally a lot of SMEs turn NPL. So this is where we come out with beyond guarantee. So rather than just helping the customers with doing guarantee and financing, we also think of the before and after things to help the customers out. One of the key ones is MSME. So if any SMEs have a hard time to look for loans or they do not know where to go for loans, please come to our platform. It's called www.imsme.com.my. This is the platform where SMEs can actually search for loans. I will share a little bit more with you. Okay, next. We also have got CGC developmental program. This is where a lot of our existing customers, we will make them more sustainable. It is very important for the SMEs to understand that getting money or learning how to be financial literate is important, but being sustainable is also important. So this is where our CGC developmental program comes in. Last but not least is this MyKMP. MyKMP is a program whereby if any of these SMEs have got rejection from the banks, please come to us for SME loans. We will actually highlight to you where your loan has actually gone wrong, like just now what I shared earlier. And hopefully, if you do understand from it, you will actually have a better chance to come back into the legal financial ecosystem again. And we will also do some referrals to you to go into P2Ps or equity crowdfunding or some other platforms that can actually lend to you. All right, next. We have spoke about IMSME. Next. All right. So this is the website. Please go inside there. We have got almost 48,000 SMEs in there registered. We have visitors 2 million. We have started this platform since 2018. Till date, we have actually approved 4,400 cases cases worth 400 over million, which is about averaging about 100,000 per case. Next. Okay, so we know the pain point of SMEs getting a loan, like what I said just now. All right, so this is where we came up with this platform called IMSME. All right, this is just to highlight that normally SMEs will take at least 25 hours to look for a loan. All right, next. Okay, this is our partners. We have 26 participating FIs. Most of the banks are in there, offering 78 products. We have alternate financiers like the P2P, the equity crowdfunding, as well as capacity building agencies like SEDA, InScan, MIA in there, as well as some of the other financiers like PUNB, Cradle, and Aspirasi in there. All right, do click into our platform and have a look at it. All right, next. So this is where we have about the developmental program. Like what I said just now, we help SMEs to understand the financial part as well as the market access advisory. These are the two key points that pain points that we notice SMEs face. Financial as well as going into what market and all that. Right, next. Okay, so these are some of the things that in the financial advisory that we do. All right, okay, next. Okay, this is where we have a lot of collaboration with AKPK. We do the SME financing part of MyKMP, whereby any loans that has been rejected and the SMEs are not happy with it, they can come to MyKMP at CGC. For as well as if home financing, if the SMEs are not happy with the loan rejections given by the bank, please approach MyKMP AKPK. All right, this is where you will have a better understanding of why your loan has been rejected. All right, next. Okay, this is our contact number. Please contact us at 03 for SME loans, 7880-0088. All right, so this is where, or you can email to us at mykmp@cgc.com.my for SME loans if you need more further understanding of why your loan has been rejected. Okay, last but not least, CGC is there to serve all the SMEs, and we have actually 16 branches nationwide. So if you need any help from CGC, don't bother just to call us or walk into our branches. We are there to serve you all SMEs. Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you.
Thank you,
Leong.
thank you. Thanks.
Very useful tips. A little bit, I would say, a lot of information in there, and I would strongly encourage our micro business friends to visit, seriously visit CGC's website, because a lot of good information is actually available in CGC's website, especially about that one-stop, that interesting one-stop loan portal you were talking about, IMSME. Yeah. So thanks a lot again, Leong.
Sure, no worries, Thomas.
Now, moving on to the final panelist for today, for the second segment, and for today, Coach Ira. In your capacity as an entrepreneur, what are some of the financial management challenges that you face? I know you probably may not face that many because you're a very successful entrepreneur, but for those that you do face, how do you overcome those challenges? Please share with our friends. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Okay, but bear with me this time. This is going to be long. Okay, it's not a rant. Okay, but it's indeed the challenges is real for us, the SME and MSME. Okay, not some. I've got a few. Okay, the first challenge that I think some of the MSME and SME had the first time they enter business world, right, is first keeping personal and business funds separate. Okay, it's a business 101 lesson that some owner of SME choose to ignore. And it's common, okay? They normally think that, oh, I just want to test water, no need to have so many accounts. And the next thing you know, it's already been a year or two, okay? And by then, it's very hard to separate. So commingling business and personal funds is very risky practice. And it's going to make it very difficult to monitor cash flow and could ultimately damage the value of a company. And auditors will see this as a big red flag. Okay, the solution is very simple. Start by opening a business account at the very first step and use it to manage all the company related inflow and outflow, okay, including your own salary, which should be a set amount versus just a land grab at the end of every month. Okay, second challenge I would say is definitely managing the cash flow. Cash flow is essential to small business survival. Okay, yet many entrepreneurs struggle to pay the bills and pay themselves. And to be honest, sometimes I'm also struggling with this. Okay, so you are not alone. Okay, but we have to manage it. Okay, so the solution, definitely proper budgeting and planning. Okay, proper budgeting and planning are critical to maintain cash flow. But even this won't always save you from stressing over bills, salary, marketing, operation costs, and etc. So when you do marketing, try to do split tests, okay, and optimize it slowly. The key is try to prioritize your marketing effort with efficiency in mind. Okay, spend your money where it works only, and reserve the rest for operating expenses and experimenting with other marketing methods. Also, keep a close eye on your money too. Okay, there may be areas you can skim to free up more funds. So unless an expense is absolutely critical or represent an investment with an expected return, cut it. Okay, in fact, do this exercise. See how lean you can run your business. You don't have to actually do it, but cut everything you can and see if you still feel you can run your business. Somewhere in between your leanest figure, right, and your current budget is a sweet spot that will allow you to be just as effective and leave fund left over to grow. Okay, the third challenge, you want to start or you want to grow your business, but you have little capital to do it. Okay, this is common. Okay, you have a great idea, but little money. The solution, there are many ways to earn funding. One of it through bank or financial institution like Tekun, Mara, Amanah, Itia, and other agencies like what Mr. Leong highlighted just now. Okay, I myself started with only 300 ringgit. Okay, 300 ringgit capital. So if you start with 1,000 or 2, you are in a way better standing than I was. And with this 300 ringgit initially, right? How do I go around with it? I start with whatever things I have on my hand. Okay, just one man show. I was the real CEO back then, chief of everything. Okay, and I literally do everything myself just from the dining table at home. I don't even have a workstation. Okay, and my store at home becomes my warehouse. Back then, it seems like to be impossible to even imagine having a business without a proper shop or office. Okay, but now it's become a norm to have a business from home. So that is good. And also, instead of trying to launch a multi-million ringgit business overnight, focus on your initial core customer. Okay, continually work to find new customer, of course, but consistently strive to be remarkable to those customers you already serve. Okay, because why? Word of mouth. Okay, word of mouth will spread and more customers will come looking for you. And as they do, develop system and business processes that allow you to delegate these tasks without sacrificing quality. Okay, and your business will grow slow and steady, and you'll be able to solve problems while they are still small. Okay, the first challenge, no safety net for unforeseen expenses. For example, COVID-19. Okay, COVID-19 is super unpredictable. For e-commerce, one time it makes the e-commerce boom like no full stop. Okay, but now when the economy reopens, it's slowing down. Okay, as the consumer priority has shifted to traveling and outdoor and so on. Okay, if you have spent too much on stock for this year-end sales, let's say 11/11 and 12/12, you might be in trouble. Okay, if you have overemployed staff, you will see your staff idling, doing nothing right now. And for industry like maybe retail, education, tourism, when COVID first hit us, when lockdown prolonged, it pushed you to the neck until only those who really fit can survive. Okay, these unforeseen expenses or event can derail any small business best laid plan, and it is real. Okay, we faced it. Okay, so the solution, beat this by paying attention to your cash flow needs and projection. Then make sure you have insurance and you have some financial reserve, or at least some emergency credit as a contingency fund. Okay, when times are good, put what you can into a saving account. Okay, and let it grow over time. Okay, and the money will be accessible if you need to pull some back. So one advantage to a rainy day fund is that it can help you minimize your debt. Okay, and thereby also will reduce interest expenses, which lead us to our final challenge. Okay, how to improve your chance of getting a loan, okay, attracting an investor or otherwise accessing capital. The solution is, like mentioned by Mr. Leong and Mr. Renga, always on standby and have all the documentation prepared. Okay, have a business plan in writing, okay, and potentially a pitch deck maybe. Work toward your credit score and financial profiling. Make sure your cash flow, your P&L statement, your balance sheets are updated, accessible, and auditable. And finally, like Mr. Renga said earlier in the beginning, make your tax document readily available anytime. Okay, not once you get the profit in, but instead from year one. Okay, so you are ready whenever you need to pay. Or go to the platform mentioned by Mr. Long just now, the CGC website, the MyKNP. That's a good starting as well. And finally, leverage with all the available funds that the government set for the MSME and SME. We have PSU to help the employers to reduce the salary burden. We have Penjana, we have Go E-commerce, we have Shop Malaysia Online Initiative, and we have the MDEC grant and so on to promote business to get digitalized and much more. Okay, so seize the opportunity and take control. And yeah, it's not a rant, okay? It's a challenge that I'm sharing with all of you guys. Okay, back to you, Thomas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very. Sorry, I was muted again. Thank you very much again to you, Coach. I think from the passion, you make me want to perhaps leave my role here and try to become an entrepreneur. It sounds very fun and challenging. Lots of interesting things. Yeah, maybe I will contact you for a little bit more tips. But maybe just before we close, yeah, thank you to all the speakers. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. But I just want to try to summarize also the second segment a little bit on some of the key things that the three speakers have shared. I think first is Renga. Renga shared his 8 tips on how to improve his our financial literacy, including, I'm just sharing a bit how to find your mentor, how to seek professional help. And it's important to take a finance course, and there are so many free ones online now. And to most importantly, practice whatever that you have learned. And Leong, as usual, is a very positive person. He shared with us how lucky Malaysian SMEs are, which I fully agree with him, because there are so many institutions out there, from the public ones to the private ones, that offer loans. And if you're financially literate, you will stand a very high chance of securing that appropriate loan for your business. And Leong also shared about that amazing one-stop financing portal called IMSME. And if we need advisory to get secure our business loans, especially even when we get rejected, he also introduced us to that MyKNP advisory service, which is, I think, very, very useful. And I believe all these are available for free, I believe. Yeah.
Yes,
and,
yes, free.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I mean,
sure.
It's free to us, but it's definitely a cost to CGC and to Leong. So thank you.
Sure.
And of course, Ira shared, I really thought Ira didn't have that many challenges since she's such a successful business entrepreneur, but it's good that she shared quite a number, and I like to just share some. So to recap some of the key things that she shared. First is to keep your accounts separate from your spouse's account. Sorry, Joe. I think what you meant was to keep the business and the personal account separate, right? Second is to manage your cash flow well, including cutting wherever you think you can cut to make your business leaner so that you can get that cash flow. Third, you also mentioned about how important, especially at the startup stage, to find capital from whatever limited resources that you have, to start small. And every one of us should expect to be a chief of everything, or a COE. In Chinese, we call it one leg kick. The fourth is to have a safety net for unforeseen situations, emergency buffers to cater to unexpected situations like COVID, for example. But you will not know what the next COVID would be. COVID may be behind us, the bulk of it, but the next COVID will be coming. So be prepared. I think your next point was very good. Be prepared. Be prepared with all your business plans, your documents ready, so that when the opportunity strikes, you immediately can capitalize. And finally, rightly so, to leverage on all the available government funds out there. So keep abreast of all the various initiatives that that's available for you and tap on it. Now, from the sharing today, I hope all our micro business friends can see that it's truly important to be financial literate to succeed in today's competitive business environment. And we at AKPK encourages all of you to improve your financial literacy by seeking financial education and advice from AKPK via our website, via our education portal called Power, and via our social media channels. We also have the Financial Education Network platform where you can increase your financial literacy. There are a lot of tools there that you can actually seek out. So I highly encourage all of you to, today's forum is just like an opener to introduce you to all the various free resources out there to help you grow your business. Now, before we end, may I please just invite our panelists to just have one last piece of advice for our micro business friends out there. Perhaps you all will have perhaps 1 minute each to share whatever last piece of advice that you may have. Maybe can I first invite Rengga, please?
Oh, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, before I end, yeah, thank you so much for this awareness session and thanks for having me. And one last round to touch is pick your battle and make sure that whoever is your mentor, they are pick the correct mentor. Likewise, pick the correct financial. Likewise, pick the correct accountant. Don't go for the bogus accountants. Go to the proper accountants because only they could advise you in proper manner because they are regulated and monitored. So please go to the proper accountants, proper lawyers, proper doctors, proper professionals. So with that, yeah, thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you, Rengga. And Mr. Leong, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say that, the past 1 over year or so, a lot of the SMEs were badly hit. So I just want the SMEs to know that stay strong. We are coming out of it. And I think we will come out of it stronger. And the banks and all the financial institutions are always there to lend a supporting hand to you guys all. So please understand about your own financial literacy, understand your business well, then come to the banks. I'm sure many of the banks are willing to support you in your financial journey. All right, thanks. That's all I want to say.
Terima kasih, Leong. Very
Thanks.
inspirational. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And Coach Ira, we always leave it to the lady to the panelist session.
Save the best for the last, yeah.
Of course.
Okay, my final takeaway is never stop learning. Okay, be as financially literate as you can be. The more you learn, the more you earn. Okay, so first invest in your own personal development. Start learning about financial education. Like Mr. Rengga said, get a mentor. Okay, attend Pocket Talk. Okay, it is free. There are a lot of other platforms, free resources. Shortcut your learning journey. Learn from other people's experience. Okay, then think about where you want to be 5 years from now. Can you get there without help? Even if you have to delay growth a bit, okay? If you do feel you need funding, be sure to consult an expert first, okay? So you can go to CGC, okay? And see if you can push your luck to get an appointment with our expert here, Mr. Leong, okay? To make sure you are not giving up too much of your business to get it before you decide, okay? Weigh your option, weigh your consequences, and how to decide? If you have the financial figure, if you know the financial bottom line, everything is on the table for you to decide already. And most importantly, always make sure you raise more money than you think you'll need. Okay, that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Coach. Thank you. And to all our micro friends here, can you please join me to put your hands together to say thank you very much to all our 3 panelists for spending their time and sharing with us important tips to help us grow our business. Now, before I end our forum this afternoon, please be sure to participate in our pop-up quiz right after this session to be eligible for our amazing lucky draw prizes. And also, I'd like to invite everyone to join the next forum session today at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. with the interesting topic, RM5 je mak, cukup ke? Mari didik anak secara santai di rumah. With that, thank you very much. Stay safe and all the best for your business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.